She told herself it was over. That one result, one failure, had closed every door she dreamed of walking through. But life, in its quiet and unpredictable way, was preparing something she never saw coming. Here's a story many people need to hear today. Her name was Aamira, a 20-year-old girl who always kept her dreams tucked quietly inside her. Like fragile things, she was afraid the world might break. People around her rarely saw the storm she carried. To her family, she was the responsible one. To her friends, she was the calm one. But inside, she felt like someone trying to hold up the roof of a life that kept threatening to collapse. For 2 years, she had prepared for a scholarship exam that could change everything. Not because she wanted a fancy title or some glittery success, but because she was tired of seeing her father count every rupee before buying groceries. Tired of hearing her mother whisper, "Maybe next month," every time she needed something. And tired of pretending she was fine when the truth was, she wanted to breathe. The day of the exam. Results felt like walking toward a courtroom. People talk a lot about courage, but no one ever talks about the courage it takes to check the one thing that can break you. She sat on the edge of her bed, her phone screen glowing too bright in the dark room. Her heart thudded in that uneven, nauseous way that makes you forget how to breathe. When she opened the result, her eyes froze. She hadn't made it, not even close. For a moment, everything inside her went silent. The kind of silence that isn't calm, but heavy and terrifying. Then the thoughts came rushing like a flood she couldn't stop. What will I tell them? How will I face myself? What do I do now? She locked herself in the washroom, not to cry, but to hide the expression she couldn't control. Little tremors, shaky breaths, that strange ache in the chest that feels almost physical. She had spent 2 years sitting under a dim lamp, memorizing chapters until her eyes burned. And now her future felt like a blank page. But not the exciting kind, the kind that scares you because you don't know how to fill it. For the next few days, she didn't talk much, didn't argue, didn't hope. Failure has a way of making loud people quiet, and quiet people invisible. One evening, while trying to avoid everyone, she walked to the back of her house where the old community center stood, the place where she used to go as a kid to watch others play badminton while she held her father's hand. Inside, the center looked almost the same. Chipped paint, dusty windows, a few kids running around with careless energy. Aamira leaned on the railing and watched a girl struggling to read a small poster on the wall. The girl turned, frustration on her face, and muttered, "I don't understand anything. These words look like a puzzle." Without thinking, Aamira stepped closer. "Want help?" she asked softly. The girl nodded. They sat on the floor and Aamira explained each line, slowly, simply, with a patience she didn't know she still had. The girl's eyes started to light up. She asked questions. She smiled. She finally understood. And something shifted inside Aamira. Not a miracle, not a grand revelation. Just a small flicker, like the first spark when you strike a match. The next day, the girl brought 2 more kids. The day after, 5. By the end of the week, a dozen children were gathering around her at that same corner of the center. It wasn't planned. It wasn't a dream she had ever written in a notebook. It just happened. Some days, she taught English. Some days, basic maths. Some days, she simply listened to them talk about their tiny problems that felt enormous to them. And every day, as she explained concepts, she began to understand something about herself, too. She wasn't done. She wasn't broken. She wasn't lost. She was discovering a part of herself she had never met before. The part that could lead, guide, strengthen. One afternoon, a woman approached her while she was helping a boy sound out words. "You're the girl who teaches here, right?" the woman asked. Aamira nodded, unsure. The woman smiled. "We need someone like you. The local education program is opening new positions for youth instructors. They watched you with the children. They want to meet you." For the first time in months, Aamira felt her breath catch, not in fear, but in disbelief. She went for the meeting expecting nothing, and walked out with something she never imagined. A part-time instructor role, training, a small stipend, and a path she had never known existed. People think success comes as a straight line. They think you choose a dream, walk toward it, and reach it if you work hard. But sometimes life looks you in the eye and says, "No, not this road, I have something else in mind." Teaching those kids didn't erase her past failure. It didn't magically fix her life, but it changed the direction of her steps. She started learning classroom methods, taking local workshops, building her confidence. Slowly, her world opened. Not through the door she knocked on for 2 years, but through a side gate she never even knew existed. And one evening, as she walked home with chalk still dusted on her fingers, she realized something. Her failure wasn't the end. It was a turning point. A quiet redirection toward a version of herself she would have never met if that exam had gone well. In the end, she didn't rise because everything worked out. She rose because the one thing she thought ruined her life became the path that finally led her to it.